Welcome to the Julie Laughton Living Podcast, the place to get advice, tips, and tricks to building the life and luxury home of your dreams with 30-year business owner, designer, and builder, Julie Laughton. It all starts with a good plan. This is Julie Laughton Living.
Welcome back to the Julie Laughton Podcast, and today we're going to talk about women in construction. We need more women in construction. It's still a low number, but we'll get into that on the show. But before you start to listen, don't forget to check out my 7 simple steps. So these 7 simple steps will save you a lot of time if you just simply have a heads up on what to expect for your remodel, your new home construction. The 7 simple steps are on my website, julielaughton.com. Okay, so construction is a man's world. It's always been one because, the myth is it's a man's world because it's a man's job, right? You're driving a bobcat, you're driving a crane, you're digging in the dirt. It's men, from the beginning, it's been the trades, the men, the craftsmen, the workers, the steel workers, the carpenters union, the electrical. It's all men. And then it goes down to their sons and their grandsons. So it's all men. And, never were there women before, but, at the turn of the century, women were thrown into factories. After the turn of the century, of course, then women are thrown into factories during the World War II and all that good stuff. So women were introduced to the workforce later in general, and then the construction industry even later, because it's a man's back-breaking job, right? So you still see very few women doing the back-breaking part, which is the physical labor of slinging drywall, framing, steel, and welding, and all that good stuff. But there are out there. But the biggest place women are that are coming in and succeeding is the project management, the office work, the logistics part. That's where you see probably the biggest growth, I'm thinking, because there's a big push, let's get trade schools back into high school. Let's, forget college, doctors, lawyers, whatever. What about trade school? Because you got to maintain the buildings. You got to build the buildings. All of us humans need buildings. We all need shelters. So there should be more focus on more people in trade school options in high school, which I think it's finally happening that the focus is back. So that's helping. But the women in construction, I believe it's 15%. It's very low. But it's growing. And, on my social media, I can find 25 women right now, if not more, that are either slinging a hammer or driving a crane. And a shout out to my crane gal in Canada, and or running a business like I am, or just being a project manager. So it's a big deal to, I think, get more women in construction because there's a need for the brain space of the project manager. Women are good at it. There shouldn't be any fear. And then women are good at the physical part. They want to do it, but I always push project management as a way to get into the business. And because women are there too in the architecture and the engineering, but again, they're a small percentage, but now they're there, but we're still a minority. What's funny about me physically in Orange County, I never see the women in construction, but, over the years, none. But then this last 5 years, I've started to see them. And one of my friends, he's a contractor like me, he recently hired a female project manager. And I was so excited. So we had lunch and I kind of gave her some coaching on what to expect in the field and how to behave and how to act. So it was kind of fun because you are working in a man's world and they're working with the trades and they just want a good leader and no nonsense. But, and then the other day I was on another project where my plumber showed up and his apprentice was a female. And I thought, this is exciting. So he brought in a woman, which is unusual in the trades, but it was so refreshing to see because she was all dressed properly and ready to go. And, but it's starting to happen. And because again, I'm in a microclimate of Orange County, so I know 2 women in the business that I'm working with, but there's more, of course, in Orange County and Southern California, but it's a minority. So my thing is just, I encourage more women to get into it. It's a really rewarding, fun business. You can make money doing the labor part and you can make money doing the project management part. It's not like it's a low paying job. It's a good paying job. So that's probably another myth. So the fear of being in a man's world and, I'm not going to be accepted, that's over. It's 2024, but you still get shit when you show up if you're on the wrong, if you're in, okay, I shouldn't say that. The women still are treated slightly different because we're women, but in construction, everybody's the same when you're working. So I don't think women realize that when you really are trained and a professional in the field, we're all just there working. It's not man, woman. It's just the myth of busting into that bubble that slows people up. That's the fear of entering the bubble is what's stopping the women. Once you're in the bubble, it's just us working. There's no crap. And then all the idiots and the weirdos that are sexist and misogynistic, well, I just don't work with them. So that solves that. So construction is construction. You know what you're doing and we all get it done. But it's the fear of busting into the bubble is what stops women, I think. I think my biggest, recommendation would be project management because again, you could go into a trade and you can make a good salary, welding or doing plumbing or becoming a plumber. As a matter of fact, I always pick plumber because, they make money. They make good money and so do electricians. But I think project management is the best place because women are multitaskers. So it's a no-brainer to be in that position. We multitask very well. I don't know. There's men that multitask well too, but it's a trait of women multitasking. So, we're just born this way. So, I always focus on the project management because then if you're in project management, you're interfacing with the plans, the city process, the architect, the engineers, and everyone involved in the project. So you get to see the big picture if you're in project management. You're not just one person, one trade, stuck in the construction end. Project management opens you up to interfacing with all of the players. And that makes it more enjoyable because then you understand the whole process. So I always recommend project management. So for me, as a boss, the general contractor, I'm the leader of the workforce. And my workforce is all men in the field, but I have 3 female project managers and I have, the 3 office. So there's 3 men and 3 women that work right under me, 3 and 3, funny enough. So, the office, actually it's Ashley, Veronica, Lisa, Tara. So there's 4 women and 2 men. Sorry about that, but there's 3 project managers and 3 office. So there is a majority of women working with me and only 2 of them are men. And the thing is, I hire people that are able to do the job. It's not man or woman. It's the ability of the person. So, one of my project managers, she's very young, but she understands the process. And it's not about being a woman or a man because at the end of the day, it's understanding the process. Because construction it all starts with a good plan, follow the schedule, work the schedule, get it done. And then I interface with the client and do the sales and the client part. So I'm kind of the leader on that. But the process itself, as I always say, it's no mystery. It's like having a baby. It's no mystery. This process is the same on every job. Some jobs have more extreme engineering or, there's this and that, but the players are the same. The process is the same. And it's understanding the process. And every construction site is a very serious safety concern place. There's no goofing around, no messing around. So my attitude is get the men lined up and don't make sure they have clear instruction and it's a safe environment, but it's all about delivering that message clearly and respectfully and having it's not only a safe, serious environment, but it's respectful. So because you're working and respect is huge. And the human interaction is huge for better performance. So when I do show up, it's all business, but it's also respectful and, everybody is treated fairly and equally. That's key because there's the seniors, the foremans and the superintendents down to the guy cleaning the floor. They all get the same respect. So it's huge to have better performance when you treat people right. And then you get clear instruction from your boss, which is me, who happens to draw the plans. So for me, my guys get the instruction from the designer and the contractor at the same time. There's usually two things going on. Running the job is one thing, and then I have two project managers, and then the designer is always just me. So I show up sometimes doing just design stuff, and sometimes I'm just running the job, checking on stuff. So the point is, it's always a clear, positive, running the job is serious, but it's a respect. I can't quite, say it any better, but we create a very healthy Zen-like, I created a healthy kind of Zen-like atmosphere, because it's serious, and safety is huge. So it's a lot of little rules to follow, and I post the rules because I think everybody needs rules, guidelines, to follow the path. You need the plans, and you need rules, and rules make it easy because then you know what to do and not to do, and then construction is all about these guys interacting together too. Because if you don't, everybody's got to know their job. And then they have to respect each other in their job. And there's no amateurs on the site because that causes total nightmare. But it's a wonderful thing to do when you do it right and everybody is happy doing their job. So I encourage more women to get in construction. It's fun, and don't be afraid, because we belong just as much as the men. And I tell you, project management's the way to go, because then you see the big picture. And then you can decide if you want to pursue, the architecture or the design, or you want to become a GC like me. It opens you up when you see the project management. And you might start with a design or architecture degree and then become a contractor like me. So project management is the ticket. So anyway, thank you for joining me. And don't forget to check out my 7 simple steps if you're entering into a new project or a new home build. And these 7 simple steps will hopefully save you aggravation and confusion, because they lay out everything you're going to go through. So check out the 7 simple steps, and I'll see you on the next podcast next week. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Julie Laughton Living. For more information or to connect with Julie one-on-one, visit julielaughtonliving.com. And don't forget, it all starts with a good plan.